Hi Capricorn, here is a general look at your solar chart for February 2014, and there's a lot of attention to physical material things, basic stuff. Your mind could be revolving around the piggy bank, property matters, material security, probably more from the 13th onwards really, but as the month begins up until the 19th, the sun is in this area highlighting things of practical nature. So you thinking about all of that, the basic resources, the basic stuff of life, okay, and what you might be putting through your body, water, air, food, that kind of thing. So thinking about diet for some of you, and fitness too. There's an unusual setup this month actually, because a lot of the planets that usually are whizzing through the signs are kind of sticking in one place. So for each one of the signs, because of these long transits, certain key areas are being lit up. The sun and the moon are moving just as fast, but even Mercury, in fact, this month is just sluggishly kind of retrograding between Pisces to Aquarius and then back to Pisces again next month. So these long-term transits mean that there is more going on in fewer areas because they're not doing their usual thing of just kind of whizzing through. So Mercury, as I say, is retrograding between the 6th and the 28th, and usually during the Mercury retrogrades, things just slow down. We just have to, not fight against there being delays and hold-ups and sometimes crossed wires, or waiting for somebody to come back to you on something and it hasn't happened, a letter getting lost in the post, transport glitches, anything like that might happen. The more mercurial you are, the more you're going to feel it. And also Mercury is orbiting over the degrees of Saturn in the sky, so it's quite quick, but it's between the 18th and the 22nd where you could have more on your mind there, more pressure. It's harder going in some way or another. Until the 13th, Mercury is actually in a very sociable, outgoing, chatty area in its retrograde. For some of that, for about a week of that, but it's also to do with gathering and sharing information, maybe negotiating. There's going to be increased interchanges anyway, and probably more paperwork. Overall, it tends to be a great time for making connections, learning new stuff, teaching stuff, etc. But it's just slower because it's retrograde. And then from the 13th, conversations tend to have a more practical slant. That's when Mercury comes into the same area as the sun, so they share the same space for about 6 days, and that then gets you thinking more, thoughts going, and conversations more around the piggy bank, property matters, possessions, stuff, just stuff is on your mind, and you have to maybe speak with others or think up ideas of how to improve things here, get it all working in a way which satisfies the requirements, the needs, whatever, and also strive to gather information about whatever would be best for yourself or others on these basic levels. Information exchange may revolve around various practical things. So there's a very practical slant, sort of buying, selling, renting, leasing. This would be a good moment for you to think about what is of most value to you, what's not worth it and what is worth it. Now, Venus is in your sign, and that's got to be good news, and you deserve a break. So Venus you can work in various ways. I mean, she doesn't just deliver goodies to you on a plate. You've got to work the energies, but the tendency would be for this gentler, softer energy of potential abundance to be blowing, like a warm wind in your direction. But of course, if you don't stick your head above the parapet, you're not going to feel the wind, are you? But Venus here means that you come across in a more attractive, dare I say, charismatic kind of a way. So if you are applying for anything in business or in any other way, in a personal relationship, then Others are more likely to pick up on that Venusian vibe and respond to you in a very favorable, friendly, warmer kind of a way. So it does tend to give your relationships a boost. It means there's more socializing going on. Of course, it's up to you to decide which group of people you're going to mix with and the conversations you're going to have together, because you could maybe hook up with someone who becomes very, very important to you and is close to your heart, or indeed it improves a relationship like that. With Venus here, you just come across as more welcoming, more persuasive, so that's good news for in a business sense, but also in a personal sense. On the other hand, you could be feeling more self-indulgent. You could be putting your hand in your pocket and shelling out more. You could, think, oh, I just want to do some retail therapy, poor me. So there's nothing wrong with that, but just be realistic. And you're very good at being realistic. But don't cut off your nose to spite your face either, and be too, just be kind to yourself. With the Venus energy here, you can trust that you could maybe get yourself a bargain, So now, just be careful though, as I said, to not allow this Venus energy to kid yourself into taking the softer route, when actually what you need to do is to do it in this gentle, persuasive way, but still be very firm in what you're doing. Overall, this is a very good time to put yourself out there, work the energy to your advantage in whichever manner you feel is appropriate. Until July, Mars is transiting the top of your solar chart, Capricorn, and this Mars position indicates this is a period when you can be working quite hard at achieving your goals and ambitions, and these may be career orientated, or they may just be about your general direction in life, but overall this transit could inspire you to work on those things quite hard. Think about image more, reputation, delivering, a good job in whatever you do in a competent kind of a way, and it could improve the way those you wish to impress see you, because you're being very dynamic, you're initiating, you're trying, you're putting effort in, and they like the fact that you are decisive, without of course running roughshod over others, but you're decisive. Mars will help you to get to where you want to go, as long as his tendency to be controversial is kind of tamed down. And you may get frustrated with the powers that be, because always wherever Mars go, we can get on the wrong side of people, or they can get on the wrong side of us and just put our back up. You can be controversial, there can be some tensions around. You can feel that those who seem to hold all the cards are just being downright unreasonable or uncooperative. But if you manage to keep your cool, don't blow your top, and just not be too hasty in coming back at somebody and being a bit defensive, then you can be proud of yourself with the progress that you're making with the master plan with this one. And you Capricorns born the 11th to the 14th of July, or with 21 to 24 degrees rising, going to feel the energy the most this month. Until next July, Jupiter is opening the way to grow through close interactions with others, one-to-ones with others in a personal or professional sense. So because of certain key associations, your horizons are going to broaden. Abundance could be coming your way. Others will be interested in your take on things, and you will be interested in theirs, if Jupiter is delivering in the way Jupiter likes to deliver. And you should be, in general, your horizons will broaden. You'll be thinking bigger, perhaps, or more expansively about possibilities and potentials. And just because of their connections and their ideas and their background experience and their culture. So you Capricorns born between the 30th of December to the 3rd of January, with 9 to 13 degrees, are going to feel that energy the most. But basically, Capricorn, you've got to put yourself in environments you got to think bigger about situations that you're in. You know, you have to put your head above the parapet for Jupiter to deliver to you, see, because if you're just all sort of sticking in hunched up at home, and which we all do sometimes, but no, you've got to kind of put yourself out there, and maybe not into the familiar stamping ground, maybe be brave, plunge into new environments, try new things to make this connection with the Jupiter energy through somebody in a one-to-one relationship. And for love relationships, this can bode very well. Now, Jupiter is opposite Pluto from mid-January across the whole of February, so just strive not to think too narrowly or be too fixated on your way of coming at something, of doing something, feeling as though others are getting in your way because they're trying to control you. It might be just a general outside agency. It could even be about money matters, property matters, but the core of it is that you are trying to get back more control, or you're trying to do the thing in the way that you know is comfortable, you know will work for you, and you come up against this resistance, which causes you then to have to scrutinize perhaps your own way of coming at this, and feeling a bit emotional about it as well. But the thing about Pluto, which maybe you're getting to know, many of you Capricorns now, with it being in your sign, is that you've got to stoop to conquer. You've got to come away from something that you thought was written in stone, something that you thought you'd never let go of it, in order to preserve or to help something else flourish and grow. And it's not easy. However, this is a Jupiter-Pluto interaction here, so it might be that a fondly held belief just has to be modified in order for then the thing to move forwards. Also, from late January to the end of the first week of February, a relationship could have you thinking bigger, broaden your horizons, even get you traveling. It could be like that. Saturn, your ruling planet, is now in this very good angle to your sun sign, which is, you need all the help you can get if you're near the degree of Pluto and also Uranus at the moment. So this is a really nice one for you, even though Saturn is quite a challenging energy. It's your ruling planet, so you are familiar with this vibe, and this means that you can be more successful putting a steady flow of energy into cultivating friendships, cultivating useful associations, cultivating yourself through a team or a group or an organization, step by slow, careful step. This Saturn transit finishes on Christmas Eve 2014, so it'll tend to be you later Capricorns that are feeling it the most now. You earlier ones will probably kind of get what I'm saying here. So kind of finding your place in a pecking order. But the thing about Saturn is it generally makes us feel a scarcity wherever she goes. She rules fear, actually. She rules ultra caution. So it might just be that you don't feel as though you're in the right group, or you're not hanging out with the right people. You feel as though you're a fish out of water somehow or other. So it depends which stage you're at. But if you accept, first of all, that might be the case, in which case you've got to put yourself out there to get into the right set. And then once you find it, know that you're going to establish yourself very gradually, and then you can rise up the levels as you slowly establish yourself in the eyes of others, and they get to know you, and they get to know what you're capable of, and how reliable you are, and what a good friend you are. Capricorns born between the 11th and the 14th of January, or with 21 to 24 degrees rising, are going to feel this energy the most this month. And that's it for February. If you want to know what the other outer slower planets are doing, that's all been updated and refreshed on my website. You can read it there. And also, if you know your moon sign or your rising sign, listen to the forecast for those, and they will maybe expand or throw a different light on what I've said here. Bits of it will anyway, and I'll see you the next time.